Thoughtful. Imagine it's a cold January night in 2012. You're scrolling through Warsaw at 2 a.m., yawning half asleep, when you see this black image pop up in a random thread. No title, no username, just white text that reads, "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck." 3,301 show original Cicada. You think it's a joke, some troll, but then, surprised, you zoom in, and everything changes. Ominous music starts. What you're about to hear is the story of Cicada 3,301, the most elaborate, most mysterious, most terrifying internet puzzle ever created. Thousands tried, a handful succeeded, and then they disappeared. This is the story that still haunts the darkest corners of the web in 2026, and no one knows who was really behind it. Let's go back to the beginning. January 4th, 2012. A single image gets posted on the /b/board of Warsaw. People start digging. They notice the file name has numbers. They run it through steganography tools. Hidden inside the image is this: "Hello, Epiphany is upon you. Your pilgrimage has begun. Enlightenment awaits. Good luck. 3,301. Now it gets weird. That message contains a cipher. When you crack it, it leads to a website. On that site, another riddle, then another, then another. It jumps from simple Caesar ciphers to prime numbers, to books written in 1666, to GPS coordinates that point to real-world locations. One clue leads solvers to a phone number in France. When you call it, a robotic voice reads a new riddle. Another clue points to posters taped to telephone poles in cities across the world. Warsaw, Paris, Hawaii, even small towns in the US, with a cicada moth and a QR code. Scan the QR, another puzzle. Solve that, it leads you to the dark web. Tor hidden services, PGP encryption, files hidden in music tracks. This wasn't a game. This was a global scavenger hunt that lasted weeks, and only a tiny handful of people in the entire world ever made it to the end. Those who did were invited to a private forum. They were asked personal questions. Then, the forum shut down. And those people, they vanished from the internet, never spoke about it again. 1 year later, January 4th, 2013, it happened again. Same style, same signature, 3,301. Even harder puzzles, more real-world clues. More people disappeared into the rabbit hole. And then, January 2014, the third round. This one ended with something called Liber Primus, a 58-page book written entirely in an unknown runic script. To this day, only about 80% of it has been decrypted. The last 10 pages, still unsolved. People have been working on it for over a decade. Mathematicians, cryptographers, linguists, even the Vatican has supposedly looked at parts of it. And here's the creepiest part. Some of the people who solved the first two rounds claim they were contacted by someone. They were told things like, whispering, "This is a test. You passed. Now wait." Then nothing. Ever again. Theories? It was a recruitment tool for the CIA or NSA. Makes sense. They love hiring codebreakers who can keep secrets. A secret society or cult looking for enlightened minds. A massive ARG that got way too real. Or something much darker, something that doesn't want to be found. Because after 2014, Cicada 3301 went completely silent. No more puzzles, no more clues. Just one cryptic message in 2016 warning about imposters. In that final unsolved section of Liber Primus, still sitting there. waiting. So here's the question that keeps me up at night. What if you had solved it back in 2012? Would you have made it all the way? Would you have gotten that private invitation? And if you did, where would you be right now? Because the ones who did, they're ghosts now. Cicada 3301 is still out there. The book is still unsolved. And somewhere, someone is still watching. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. Comment below, would you have tried to solve it? And subscribe, plus turn on notifications. Because next week we're diving into another mystery that's even darker. Until then, keep your eyes open. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. 4 bodies are discovered months later inside a remote trailer stocked with food, blankets, and a working heater. But none of it was touched. They starved. They froze. They walked barefoot for miles. We go deeper into the investigation, the family's heartbreaking search, the evidence that still doesn't add up, and the theories that keep this case alive nearly 50 years later. If you think you know what happened, wait until the end. Music sting, transition. The family's desperate search. Right after the guys didn't come home on February 24th, 1978, the families knew something was terribly wrong. These weren't the kind of guys who stayed out late without calling. Jack Madruga's mother called the police within hours. The next day, search parties started. Friends, family, local volunteers. They drove every road between Chico and Yuba City. Nothing. The car wasn't found until 4 days later, on February 28th, by a Forest Service snowplow driver on Ponderosa Way, a road almost nobody used in winter. When deputies opened the car, keys in the ignition light still on, battery almost dead, basketball, snacks, jackets inside, no blood, no signs of violence. But the car was pointed uphill, deeper into the mountains, the opposite direction of home. Why? The families begged for more help. Helicopters flew over the area. Bloodhounds were brought in. Nothing. For months, silence. Then June 4th, 1978, the motorcyclists found the trailer, and the nightmare became real. Inside the trailer, the horrifying scene. The trailer was a small U.S. Forest Service emergency shelter, basically a metal box with bunks, a stove, and supplies for stranded hikers or firefighters. Ted Wyer's body was on one of the beds. He weighed less than 90 pounds when he died. He had lost over 100 pounds from starvation. His beard had grown several inches. He had been there for at least 8 to 13 weeks. The trailer had over 100 military MRE-style meals, cans of food, a propane heater with fuel, blankets, matches, lanterns. None of it looked used. The heater was off. The food cans were unopened. There was evidence someone had tried to start a fire in the stove, but gave up. Outside, Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling's bodies were found about 100 yards away, under a tree. They appeared to have died quickly from exposure. Jack Hewitt's skeleton was found almost a mile away, near a creek. He had crawled or walked there alone. No signs of animal attacks or violence on any of them. And then, the shoes. Ted was wearing Gary Mathias's tennis shoes, way too small for him, causing severe frostbite damage. Gary's own boots were inside the trailer, untouched. The investigation, what didn't add up. The Butte County Sheriff's Office and FBI got involved. Key strange findings. The guys walked 20-plus miles uphill in 2 to 4 feet of snow, in street clothes, some without shoes. That's almost superhuman. They had matches and dry wood. But no big fire was ever made. Ted Wyer was found wrapped in sheets. Someone had tried to keep him warm, but then left him. There were small signs of life inside, a calendar on the wall with days marked off, starting from late February. Gary Mathias, diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic, had his medication in the car. He hadn't taken it in days. Experts said, without meds, Gary could have had a full psychotic episode, paranoia, hallucinations, believing the others were out to get him, or that they were coming for him. But why drag everyone 20 miles up a mountain? The leading theories, ranked by believability. Theory number 1, Gary's psychotic break, most accepted. Gary panics without meds, convinces the others danger is coming, maybe thinks the government or someone is after him. They flee the car, follow him blindly because they trusted him and were used to following the group. They reach the trailer, but Gary's delusions make them afraid to use the government supplies, or they think help is coming soon. Theory number 2, they were trying to get help. Some believe they thought the trailer was closer to civilization, or saw lights/road in the distance and kept walking. But why ignore food/heat for weeks? Theory number 3, foul play/someone chased them. A few locals claim they saw suspicious people in the area that winter. Never proven, no evidence of murder. Where are we in 2026? Almost 50 years later, the case is still open. Gary Mathias is still listed as missing, presumed dead. Families have mostly passed away without answers. Online communities YouTube still debate it weekly. New theory in recent years. Maybe carbon monoxide from the car caused initial confusion, then hypothermia took over. But nothing fully explains it. What we do know, 5 kind, innocent men went to enjoy a basketball game and walked into one of the saddest, strangest endings imaginable. If this case haunts you like it haunts me, smash that like button, drop your number 1 theory in the comments, and subscribe.